The year was 1946. The world was recovering from the devastation of World War II, and the British Empire was struggling to maintain its colonies. India, the jewel in the crown, was now on the brink of freedom. But this freedom came with immense challenges, one of the most prominent being the demand for a separate nation, Pakistan. The path to independence was marred by violence, political negotiations, and immense human suffering. By 1946, the British Empire was weakening. Four major events had forced Britain to reconsider its hold over India. First, the Quit India movement of 1942, led by Gandhi, saw millions of Indians united against colonial rule. Second, the Indian National Army, spearheaded by Subhash Chandra Bose, had gained significant traction. The subsequent trials of its leaders at the Red Fort drew widespread support, shaking British authority. Third, the Royal Navy mutiny saw Indian soldiers rising against British control. Lastly, Britain itself was in no position to sustain its empire after World War II, with an economy battered by the war and public opinion at home shifting toward granting India freedom. In 1946, provincial elections were held in India, setting the stage for political upheaval. Congress, under leaders like Nehru and Patel, won 9 of the 11 provinces, asserting their dominance. However, the Muslim League, led by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, emerged as a powerful force, securing 87% of seats reserved for Muslims. This gave Jinnah the leverage to claim he was the sole representative of India's Muslims. With this newfound political power, Jinnah demanded a separate nation for Muslims, a demand he described as non-negotiable. His slogan was clear: India would either be divided or destroyed. The tension reached a boiling point on August 16, 1946, when Jinnah declared Direct Action Day. What followed was one of the darkest chapters in India's history. In Calcutta, communal riots broke out, leaving thousands dead in just a few days. The streets were littered with corpses, and the city descended into chaos. This violence wasn't limited to Calcutta, it spread to other parts of Bengal and beyond, setting the stage for further bloodshed. The events of Direct Action Day marked the beginning of widespread communal violence that would continue to plague India until partition. Amidst this turmoil, the British attempted to mediate. In May 1946, the Cabinet Mission Plan was introduced. It proposed a united India with autonomous provinces to address the demands of both Congress and the Muslim League. While Congress initially accepted the plan with reservations, Jinnah agreed, seeing it as a step toward greater autonomy for Muslim-majority regions. However, trouble brewed when Congress leader Nehru publicly stated that the plan could be amended once Congress formed the government. Jinnah saw this as a betrayal and withdrew his support, leading to a complete breakdown in negotiations. Despite the failure of the Cabinet Mission Plan, an interim government was formed in September 1946, with Nehru as its head. The Muslim League joined the government later, but their participation only deepened the divide. The League obstructed key decisions, and communal riots continued unabated. This period was marked by mistrust and an inability of the two factions to work together. The interim government, meant to symbolize cooperation, instead highlighted the irreparable differences between Congress and the Muslim League. In early 1947, Britain sent Lord Louis Mountbatten as the last Viceroy of India, tasked with overseeing the transition to independence. Mountbatten's initial goal was to maintain a united India, but he quickly realized the depth of the divisions. Despite his efforts to negotiate with Jinnah and Congress leaders, no consensus could be reached. Jinnah's insistence on Pakistan as a separate state and the ongoing violence left Mountbatten with little choice but to consider partition. While Mountbatten worked on plans for partition, Gandhi was waging his own battle to keep India united. Gandhi was so committed to preventing partition that he even proposed making Jinnah the Prime Minister of a united India. He believed that conceding power to Jinnah would preserve India's unity. However, this idea was rejected outright by Congress leaders, including Nehru and Patel, who had grown increasingly frustrated with Jinnah's demands and the League's tactics. For Gandhi, this rejection was a personal and political blow. As negotiations continued, Mountbatten proposed a new partition plan. This plan divided India into two nations, India and Pakistan, based on religious majorities. Punjab and Bengal, two key provinces, were to be split, while princely states were given the choice to join either nation or remain independent. This plan was accepted by Congress, the Muslim League, and the British government. On June 3, 1947, the partition plan was announced, setting in motion a series of events that would change the subcontinent forever. The partition of India led to one of the largest mass migrations in human history. Over 15 million people were displaced as Hindus and Sikhs moved to India and Muslims to Pakistan. The migration was accompanied by horrific violence. Over 1 million people were killed, and countless women were abducted and assaulted. Entire villages were wiped out, and families were torn apart. The partition left scars that continue to shape the relations between India and Pakistan to this day. On August 15, 1947, India finally gained independence, with Pakistan becoming a separate nation a day earlier. Nehru delivered his iconic speech, "Tryst with Destiny," as the Indian flag was hoisted at midnight. While the moment was one of celebration, it was also one of immense sorrow. The joy of independence was overshadowed by the tragedy of partition. The story of India's partition is a powerful reminder of the complexities of freedom and the human cost of political decisions. It highlights how colonial policies sowed divisions that led to devastating consequences. For Australians, this chapter of history offers an opportunity to reflect on the global legacy of colonialism and the importance of addressing its lasting impacts. The events leading to India's independence and partition are explored in depth in the series *Freedom at Midnight*, based on the well-researched book of the same name. This series sheds light on the political negotiations, the key leaders, and the human stories behind these events. It's a must-watch for anyone interested in understanding how history shaped the modern world. As we reflect on these events, let us remember the resilience of those who lived through them and the lessons they offer for our shared future. Independence came at a great cost, but it also laid the foundation for the world's largest democracy. This is a story of pain, hope, and the enduring quest for justice and unity.